You're listening to Shawna and LaLa, and on the phone early this morning, we have Perez Hilton. Hi.
Hello, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
It is early for you. You're in LA, so it's got to be 7:30 in the morning. And
Ugh, I hate getting up early.
I know it's early for us too. We are not morning people.
No.
I don't know about you,
Normally I
Perez, but
normal normally I wake up at 5:30 a.m., but I've been going to bed later this week, which is my release week of my new memoir. So I woke up maybe just 30 minutes ago. Um, I've not been getting much sleep just
Oh.
because I have three kids, and at night is the only time I can be by myself when they're sleeping and catch up on my work. So
oh
Yeah.
man.
I know
it's
how
been
that is.
intense.
Well, Lala has a 7-year-old, and she's been doing. She's become a second grade teacher.
Virtual learning over
Virtual
here.
learning. I don't know about you if you have children school age.
Yeah, I do. I have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and it's awful. I mean,
Right?
what's what's wild is that there are no rules really. Like every school, every city, every state is doing it differently.
Yep.
I have
Yeah.
a friend. I have a friend in New Jersey who has a 5-year-old daughter, just like my daughter, who's five. And I have my 7-year-old, and my 3-year-old, and she was telling me that in Jersey, her 5-year-old was getting 5 hours of Zoom instruction a day, and I was jealous because my 5-year-old is getting half that.
Yeah.
And so much of her time is spent with breaks. Like, okay, 20 minutes and then a 20-minute break, 30 minutes and then a 20-minute break. And like all the
Yeah.
breaks are what drive me crazy, especially because every break she wants a snack. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, they don't get a snack every break at school. What is this?
I
Our
know.
life,
I
the
know.
world is just
It's
upside down this
crazy.
year.
It totally is. 2020, I'm ready for it to be over.
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah, hopefully virtual learning is over soon too. I'm going crazy also. But anyway.
So, you have a new book, My TMI, My Life in Scandal. What made you want to write it and reveal all sorts of personal topics and things that happen in your life?
Well, I didn't want to write it at first because I was afraid. It was very personal. It's my story. And I always thought if I release a memoir and it doesn't do well, then that's a bad reflection on me. And it wasn't a risk that I was willing to take until I met my co writers on this one, who were very persistent. At first, I almost thought they were like stalkers, but eventually they wore me down, and I caved and I said, all right, you know what? I do think enough time has also passed since I began my career, and I've had enough adventures to make a very compelling book, either in written format or in audio, which I narrated myself. And it's done so well that, I mean, it's crazy. I don't think my publisher was expecting the book to do this well. It's currently sold out on
Wow.
amazon.com.
Oh, wow.
So if people want to get it this week, and it's not even being restocked until Saturday, October 17th
Oh my
on
god.
Amazon, but they still can get it if they go to perezhiltonbook.com. I have a whole list of other retailers there where they can get the book now. And of course, if you buy the Kindle or the audio version, you can get it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow,
That is
that's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
fast. That
I
fast.
mean, even if it doesn't end up on the New York Times bestseller list, which is what every author would love, just the fact that, wow, that I exceeded the expectations of my publisher and of Amazon, and I'm sold out there,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's something to be really proud of.
I think I would have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Well, at first I was freaking out. I was like, no, that's how most people buy their books these days. I've learned a lot about, the process of releasing a book. And what's crazy too is that even though most people, myself included, buy books and everything on Amazon, the New York Times list, they it's it's not a one for one situation. If you buy one book on Amazon, it counts less than if you buy one book from your local bookshop.
Really?
The New York Times weighs more independent booksellers because it makes sense, I guess. They don't want the New York Times bestseller list just to be the Amazon bestsellers list. So they want it to be an accurate reflection of what people are buying across it's almost like the Electoral College,
Yeah.
right? Which I don't like. I don't like the Electoral College. I want it to just be a popular vote thing. So,
Yep.
Yes.
It is what it is.
But so speaking of your children earlier, how has, being a celebrity and having children, how has that changed your perspective of
Your work.
your job?
Sure. I mean, my children changed everything, both my work and my life. And I think both for the better, even though at first, before I had children, I thought that it would hurt my career because I would be working less. But that was a naive thought I had. I just sleep less. I still work just as hard. And also, having kids means I also have more expenses. So I have more necessity to work. So I say yes to more, which is actually a good thing. Because before I had children, I would just turn down certain opportunities, saying stupid things like, oh, that's lame. That's not cool. That's not good for my brand. I don't like that. I'm honest. Now, if any TV show or any paid gig offers me a job, I will say yes, sign me up. But yeah, I don't have children of celebrities on my website anymore unless it's photos that the celebrities share themselves, or if they're at a red carpet event where it's understood that they're going to be photographed. And it affects everything because I realized after having children, and probably before too, but probably after, because it's kind of like this ongoing thing that it took me a while to accept. Even though I changed the way I reported about celebrities, and I don't think I know that I'm not as mean or whatever other adjective you might want to use that like I was back in the day. Most people aren't going to forgive me for my past, and they're still going to see me as that person I was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And that's fine. Like I said, I've accepted that. I can't control that. And I have also accepted that in tandem with that, my kids in the future will probably be discriminated against because of mistakes that I made in my past and who their father is.
Yeah.
But
hopefully not.
Probably will. Yeah. And I've accepted that. But, I began to have important conversations with my kids about me, my life, my career, and the public, and giving them the tools I think that they could really benefit from to succeed in life.
Yeah. That's all you can do as a parent, really, Protect them as much as you can and give them advice and show them the way, but prepare them.
And let them know that when they're on their own, they're on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I have, and it's almost like the same as my mom and dad, Well, my dad passed away when I was 15. I talk about that in the book. But, when my kids are done with college, I'll probably help them, with maybe like a 6-month apartment rental. And in 6 months' time, you should be able to figure out what you're going to do for work beyond those 6 months if you haven't before then. But any money that I have left over, I will hopefully be able to budget it out so that I could start doing things again that I had to cut out of my life, like traveling internationally for fun, getting massages, getting facials, all those things that I used to do before kids that I don't do anymore. I did get a massage for Christmas, and that was my only massage all of 2019, and that's because it was a gift
Oh
But
my God. Yep.
a lot of parents don't quote pamper themselves or spend a lot of money on themselves because it's expensive raising children.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes,
You
it
got to get
is.
back to taking care of yourself, because the best parent you can be is when you're taking care of yourself too. You know, you're a better parent at that point, I believe.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, why did you name your book "My Life in Scandal"?
That was my publisher's idea, and I loved it. You know, we were all brainstorming name suggestions, and I'm like, all right, that sounds perfect. Let's go for it. It was real easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I get when I was reading it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see how this fits then.
yeah. I think everything in Hollywood is like scandalous.
Scandal. Yes.
Yeah. So, what is your biggest regret? I mean, you talked about, talking negatively about
Christina
Aguilera and other celebrities. But what is your biggest regret being in the entertainment business so far?
My biggest regret, definitely that I hurt a lot of people along the way. I wish I could go back in time and do things differently. I would. Not only because it's the right thing to do for myself and for others, but for selfish reasons. Like, this is real honest. If I could go back in time and do things differently, I am confident that I would still have succeeded. Because when I began in 2004, it was a less crowded space. You know, there wasn't the influencer space. I was the original influencer. I invented the space. Mm-hmm. Perez Hilton didn't. She's been claiming in interviews recently that she's, invented the influencer space, but she was an heiress. She was born an heiress, and then she became a socialite, and then she transitioned to television star. So her route to stardom was more traditional. Mm-hmm. All of my career is thanks to social media and non-traditional means. So
I agree.
I would have still been fun and flamboyant and silly and would have still gotten a lot of attention, like I still do now. I still get a lot of attention now by being myself and doing it in a way that's, I think, not mean or nasty or cruel or hurtful. So I'm confident I would have still succeeded, and I would have had a lot better karma. I would have not affected others negatively the way that I did. And also, like, the selfish thing is, I know that still to this day and age, now I get opportunities taken away from me. I know that I'm not welcome certain places. I know that I am discriminated against because of who I am and what I did. So for myself, for my kids, it would be the right and better thing to do, as well as just energetically and for the celebrities and everybody else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why do you think you went down that route when you first became, in the industry, to kind of talk negatively and, quote unquote, bully others? Like, what did you want to be? I mean, obviously everyone wants to be different and have their own niche, but, what went through your mind?
Yeah, it was like being a drug addict back then. Everything was so new to me and to the stars. Social media was just beginning. And both of us, me and especially, like the girls gone wild, the Paris, the Brittany, the Lindsay, the Nicole, the Kim, everybody, we were all jonesing to get that next fix. We wanted the attention. So we would do and say crazy things to get people talking about us.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
It works, though.
And that sells. That's what sells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is your biggest accomplishment and what are you most proud of today?
I'd say my biggest accomplishment is that I've been able to take such good care of my family, that my little hobby turned into a career, and that, since 2007, 3 years after I started, I've been financially supporting my mother and my sister, which is also a lot of stress and pressure to know that now 5 people's livelihoods are dependent on me and my ability to earn. That's why I don't sleep much. I
Yeah.
sleep probably like 5 hours a
Oh
night
my gosh.
normally. Over the last week and a half, I've been sleeping 3 hours and 45 minutes a night. So I'm a zombie right now. Functioning on less than 4 hours of sleep for more than a couple days is just
That's not
stupid.
healthy.
But I just don't have the time. I have to do all of this book promo, interviews like the one I'm doing now with you guys there in New York, as well as then, it's not just doing the interviews now. You have to do the interviews and promote all the interviews that you did on social media. Like, read this, watch me, what I did. And like,
Yeah.
promotion takes time. You have to promote it on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on everywhere, on Snapchat, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm just struggling to stay afloat and not drown right now, but I'm grateful that 16 years later, I'm still here. And even though I have to work like a madman because I don't have that FU money in the bank, I'm still able to provide for my 3 kids and my mom and my sister. And most importantly, I still love what I do. I wake up every morning exhausted, but with gratitude in my heart.
Well, that's important.
No, that is. If you love what you're doing and you feel accomplished and proud of yourself, then there's nothing that can stop you at that point.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
thank you. I agree.
how are you work? I mean, you say that you work all these, crazy, pretty much 24/7. But, with COVID and the quarantine and you being home, are you putting in more hours, do you think, or
Yes,
less hours
I'm
because you're
putting
not
in
traveling?
more. I'm putting in more hours because I have to do more.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it would have been easier because wouldn't be leaving my house, but I've ended up having to do things that my mom previously would help me with, that now, because she's very high risk, she doesn't leave the house at all. My
Mm-hmm.
mother is in her late 60s, has asthma, has diabetes, has a ton of other health issues, has a poor mental health.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, she would be the first to admit that. I mean, she's got good mental health, but she's fragile. Maybe that's what a better word. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if my mother has the fight in her to be able to fight COVID, because from what I've seen and read and heard from people that have had it, you have to fight. You have to exercise the lungs
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
just really attack it. You have to attack this awfulness, if you can, and then some people get hit. It's different from person to person. It affects every person differently. I just don't think my mom could fight it.
Yeah.
So I, now have to do the little things like go to the supermarket myself and get my food, or which, I'm spoiled. My mom needs to do that for me because my mom works for me. My mom is my professional mom. I pay her and she lives with me, and I pay her to do all these little things, and I pay her well.
Yeah.
So she'll go to the PO box, or she used to go to the PO box for me and pick up my mail. She used to go and put gas in my car, and all these little errands and things that over the course of a week take up a good amount of time. My mom would do that for me, and now she doesn't, and I have to do that all myself, as well as my day job. Excuse me, sorry, I was having my coffee and it
It's
came out a little bit.
don't worry.
I have to do my day job, and I have got to, parent 3 kids,
Yeah.
and like, even with my kids, I think because we're doing virtual learning, the school feels like they have to do more, even though they're not. So they're having like all these Zoom parent meetings and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I want to pull my hair out.
I know. I know. I got marked. He lost points because I, as a parent, didn't do something that she wanted me to do, and I was like, how is my son getting marked? Less points because I didn't fill out a paper. Yeah, I'm busy too. It's really a nightmare. I get it. I love though that the relationship it seems that you have with your mom, and you've talked about her so many times, and I love that. I lost my mom at 16, so I love seeing when people have that close knit relationship with their mothers, because moms are just the best. They're amazing, and they're
They
always
really
there for
are.
us.
So, what is your number one bucket list celebrity interview? I love this question.
I would love to interview Angelina Jolie, just
Oh,
because she's perhaps, the only celebrity yet that I haven't met. I've met everybody else from Madonna to Oprah and everybody in between. Uh, but I have never met Angelina, and I would love to. And I also just find her very fascinating.
she's beautiful too. Like,
She's
just, oh my
gorgeous.
God, I'm in love with her. Well, what advice do you have for young people who are looking to get into, the start in their Hollywood or into the writing, blogging? What advice would you have for young people doing that?
God, you may not want to hear this, but my advice to anybody who wants to, work in showbiz, work as a writer, work in social media, or anything really in life is you need to really look deep into your soul and ask yourself, how hungry am I?
Hmm.
How much do I want this? How badly am I willing to do this for? What sacrifices am I willing to make? Because if you want to be super successful, if you want to excel, you have to make a ton of sacrifices. People, both young and old, but especially young people, grow up hearing older folks talking about balance. There is no balance. Even still, 16 years into my career, I don't have balance. Maybe if I was lucky enough to have FU money, like to have enough money saved in the bank that I never have to work again, then I could have balance in my life because I don't have to worry about earning every month money to pay my bills and
Yeah.
pay everything that needs to get taken care of. Uh, but your career has to be your number one priority. You have to put in the hours. You have to show up early, stay late, and work during vacation and do that all without complaining.
Yeah.
That means
Hmm.
relationships are going to suffer, family is going to suffer, your health, like not being able to go to the gym because you don't have enough time. All of that has to come after your work and your single sole focus of being that huge success, and that is what it takes. And
Hmm.
it's going to always be that until you just don't need to do that anymore, or you have the help of a spouse or whomever to maybe make you feel less worried or stressed about earning money. I don't have a partner, so it's all on me.
Yeah.
But I don't complain. I still love what I do, so I am happy doing all these things.
Yeah. I also think, you need to have tough skin.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I started the career when I was 15 and in radio. And, it's not easy. You get a lot of negativity. You get a lot of hate. You get a lot of love, though. But it is not easy. There's times where I'm sure, you felt like quitting. I felt like quitting. And then, your family really picks you up and says, don't let it bother you, but it's like, how can you not let it bother you?
Yeah.
So I think you also have to have tough skin.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
But thank you so much, Perez, for calling in today. We really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
talking with you. So your book is available. Well, it's sold out on
Yeah.
Amazon.
But he
But
said
they
you can
can go
get a
to
Kindle.
perezhiltonbook.com to get it. That's perezhiltonbook.com.
Awesome.
Thank you
And
so much.
yeah, it was great talking to you. And we are definitely going to promote you and your book on our social media as well.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you so
luck.
much. All right. Maybe one day I'll make it up to that area in New York. I would love to somehow make it there. I know
Yeah.
they have a big gay scene now. A lot of ex New York gays moved up to the Hudson Valley area.
Yes.
So
Oh, New Paltz, and we have a few other ones. It's beautiful up here
It's
and
gorgeous.
great
Beacon.
community for that.
Yeah, Beacon, I think, New Paltz.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. I'll have to ask my cousin.
Yeah.
She'll know.
cool.
Well, we'd love to meet you if you do. Let us
Cool.
know.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Stay in touch.
All right. Have a good one.
You
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.
I'm so glad that he's back. He's coming back on the scene, and it seems like he's like he said, he's realized what he did wrong in his past,
Yeah.
what maybe have hurt a lot of people in his life, and he's trying to make that right, or at least be honest about it. And that I really commend him for doing that.
Do you know how many people, like celebrities, wouldn't even dare to
No.
apologize?
No, they wouldn't. They would just go on about their lives and not care who they stepped on or stepped over to get to where they are. And I like I said, I think it's great that he is coming out and saying, "Hey, this is me. This is what I did. This is what I did wrong. This is why I did it. This is what happened." Like he said, his life and scandal, too much information. And there's a lot of information in that book. I didn't finish the whole thing, but it really pulled me in when I was reading it. And it was stuff I didn't even know. I mean, 90% of us probably didn't know what was going on in his life at all.
Yeah.
What was going on with other celebrities that was causing him to do certain things. And I was shocked. Every chapter I read, it's just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Oh my God. And I'm learning a lot about, what were we saying to him? The stuff that goes on,
Behind
the
the
scandal,
scenes and scandals
the
and-
scandalous stuff that goes on in the celebrity world. It's all in that book.
You know, I know a lot of famous people,
Yeah.
and you know, I have a lot of friends in the business, and they all tell me, you know, there's different sides to every story.
Mm-hmm.
The media, we see it every day. They blow things out of proportion.
Yep.
Celebrities, you know, they do publicity stunts.
Yep. Some dirty stuff for
money.
publicity.
Look
It
at
sells.
yeah. And, you know, look at, you know, the paparazzi.
Yeah.
You know, they try to get that photo for $10,000, you know.
And then they captured it something totally different that wasn't even going on in the photo, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So it's just crazy. Hollywood is crazy. But I'm glad that he actually decided to write this book.
Yeah.
To show everyone what really goes on
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes, and him, you know, in the center of all that chaos.
And what went on, really. So, like Shawna says, there's 3 sides to every story.
There is.
There's the truth, and like this book is pretty damn honest, if I have to say. Just read it, buy it. He said you can get it on his website, so because they are sold out. It's doing so extremely well, and that's amazing. And you know, I gotta say, I didn't know how much of an amazing dad he was, but I was like looking through all his videos and pictures, and like he's just the cutest dad I've ever seen, and his kids are absolutely beautiful.
They are. They're
So beautiful. Oh my God, that little girl. But yeah, lots of luck to you, Perez. We love chatting with you. Everyone, again, buy the book, get it on your Kindle, pre-order it. It's sold out, but you could still get it on his website.
Yeah,
And
you could get it on Barnes & Noble, too.
Yep. TMI, right?
Yes.
His Life and Scandal, Perez Hilton.
Yes, definitely get it. You will definitely get an insight to things that you'd never knew.
Yep. If you love gossip, it's like right there in that book. All the things that you just never knew. I'm still like in shock reading some of it.
You're listening to Shawna and LaLa. We'll be right back.